Okay, after intro, you all.
I love that because I didn't see that last.
You're listening to the Rich Girls Podcast, where we celebrate women who are glowing, inspiring, rising, leading, and succeeding. Join your hosts, Jasmine and Cesaley, for weekly gems on business, relationships, motherhood, finances, and more. Let's get started.
Here we go.
Hey guys.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back
Yes, welcome back
to the
today.
Rich Girls Podcast.
Yes. Today it's just me and Jasmine.
Yes.
We had a really exciting show last week. Super excited. Today we're going to follow up on the show, get some input from some of the ladies that we had some questions for on our pages. But just to give you all a brief summary of last week's show, we had T-Rail and Party Next Door. So we did the Battle of
Party
the
all
Sexes.
weekend.
What did I say?
Party next door.
Wow, Party all weekend. Sorry. That is hilarious. Okay, well yeah, that was funny. But we had them on for Battle of the Sexes. I feel like we won, but we really didn't give them much of a chance. So
Right.
We're definitely looking for two guys for our next Battle of the Sexes who can give us a run for our money, for sure. But last week's show, we just got into detail. We had a lot of questions for the men about polygamy, marriage, how they felt about that. Why it takes men so long to either shit or get off the pot, either make a commitment or, leave a woman alone, and vice versa.
And men actually, some men believe that women should be more patient with them, which kind of brings us into the topic of this week's episode, episode 3, Why Wait? And I know that sounds like waiting for sex or something like that. That's really not what this episode is about, but I guess we can kind of talk about that too a little bit, like, how necessary is it to wait before having sex with someone that you're dating? Like, is that like old school traditions, or is that relevant in today's society? We want to know what you guys think. Drop it in the comments below. Share your thoughts about that. But yeah, we last week, 2 weeks ago, because we do the Rich Girls Podcast every other week right now. But during the Battle of the Sexes, we were kind of talking about how the dating game has changed because of social media. Like, everyone is so much more accessible these days, and yeah. Also, another point I remember is relationships are easier when you keep it real with yourself, with other people.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
If you just want to be F-buddies, just say that. If you're not ready for a relationship, just say that. So much confusion and hurt could be reduced if people would just really say how they feel and what's going on in their mind,
Exactly. And that plays a role really into the whole accessible thing. Social media has made it really easy for people to put on this fake persona. You have to portray yourself in a certain kind of way, whether that's to get attention or honestly really to make yourself feel better. So I think our generation has a hard time maybe keeping it real just because we
it's so easy to hide.
Yeah, it's so easy to be somebody else on social media. So keep it real with yourself so you can keep it real with others, most definitely.
Yep. And if we did not mention, we definitely have some merch dropping soon. Rich Girls t-shirts, leggings, jewelry, like the whole nine. So I will keep you guys posted about more details on that. But this is a whole movement, like rich life, rich mindset.
All of that.
Rich girls.
Yes.
You feel me?
For sure. And we are actually, like I said before, Battle of the Sexes, we're looking for two men, preferably just some men who are opposite from each other. We just like our viewpoints, our backgrounds, because nobody's right, nobody's wrong. It's definitely your preference and what you want. So, fellas, hit us up. Let us know if you got something to bring to the table. If you feel like you got something you can school the ladies on or other men, let us know.
Right.
And we actually are looking for 2 females as well. So
we're always
anybody-
looking for more guests to host the show.
Yeah.
We're kind of
Constantly.
going back on lockdown, so there may, we'll discuss the details later. But definitely hit us up, richgirlgang20@gmail.com. You can email us. You can hit up me or Cecily on either one of our personal pages, and we can definitely get that set up. We're excited to hear from you guys.
Yes.
But I think we're going to go to a commercial real quick. Stay tuned. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and we will be right back.
Great job. Great job. First segment.
Season greetings
Remember,
from
2
Dr.
commercials and we back
and
in.
Nurse
Okay?
Baisha.
Y'all can talk because we on mute. So
Okay, give me a drink.
And the Happy New Year.
Mouth is dry.
Wave FM Online works for the community, works for you,
I'm glad that he did post it today.
and we want your story
okay.
because your story's been misrepresented.
I like water.
Hit us up and be heard.
Yes, please.
Send us your videos.
Thank you.
Y'all going back in. Y'all going back in. Here we go.
So that was a quick commercial break.
Yep, we're back.
We're back.
That
Episode 3, Why Wait? So we're going to get into the good stuff. So basically, earlier this week, I posed the question, ladies, are you willing to wait for a man to get his shit together? And if so, for how long? We got very interesting responses. Got a lot of perspective on that.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're going to get into. But first, we want to ask you guys that's tuning in today. It doesn't matter if you're a male or female right now. Would you wait for someone else to get their shit together?
Whether that be
Period.
mentally, financially,
Right.
whatever that point is in your relationship where you realize, like, okay, I'm going to have to wait for this person to get on my level or move on. So,
like, would you wait for your man to stop cheating?
or would you wait for him to get a better job? Or would you wait for him to leave his baby mama all the way alone? Or
all the way alone.
anything that you know for a fact, I am really putting my eggs in one basket,
Right.
waiting on this person to be what I need them to be. So let us know below, would you wait, or how long would you wait? And
Right.
when is it worth the wait? So,
Right. When is it worth the wait is like the key to this, I think. Based on the conversation that I had earlier this week, I feel like the majority ruled that no. Women are just like, no, I'm not going to wait. Especially if you're in the 30 and up club.
Yeah.
Like when you reach 30,
Yeah.
like I feel like in your 20s, you feel like you got more time to waste, apparently.
And it's not even the time that you think you have. Mentally, you're not even cognitively all the way developed to where you're 100% in yourself, which you may not be there at 30 either. But at 28, women really hit a point where they really are starting to realize what they want and need. Not to say you're going to have everything together by then, but you should really start understanding, like, okay, either
who
this
you
it is
are
or
and
it
what you
ain't.
want,
Yeah.
and this is real and this
Exactly.
is not. Like, because I feel like in my early 20s, everything was pretty much a facade. I saw the whole world with rose-colored glasses, and it was pretty crazy. So let's get into this topic. So ladies, are you a ride or die? We want to know. Are you a ride or die? Like, so let's kind of define that. A ride or die is the type of woman who's going to take charges for a man, who's going to, stash drugs or whatever you got to do is what I feel like a ride or die is. A ride or die is someone who is willing to, like, sacrifice their own freedom, basically, for someone else.
Right.
Like, we ride together, and even if it means us dying together, that's what it is. If you choosing this risky lifestyle, I'm right here with you riding for that.
Right.
Like, so are you a ride or die? Like, I feel like men kind of
But you
think
know
the
what?
loyalty is defined by whether or not you're a ride or die.
Yeah, but you gotta look at it from a different point of view, because ride or die, you just thinking of a drug dealer or somebody who, you know, is this and that. But say you got a hardworking man and, you know, this man held his job down for 5 years and he lose his job. And you stick with him. That's a ride or die, too.
That's a ride or die,
so
too.
There's two different aspects of the ride or die. I consider myself a ride or die for my man because I feel like he's going to do the same for me. And we're not talking about drugs. I'm not stashing nothing. It's just more so about holding it down for somebody who's going to hold it down for you. So, yeah.
But I feel like
you could be a ride or die.
You could be a ride or die. And yeah, so I guess at first I maybe had a negative connotation with that ride or die. It is definitely how you look at it.
Exactly.
I feel like if it's a man who's worthy and honest and hardworking and, you know, like definitely, you know.
Yeah.
It's definitely cool to be a ride or die, especially if you're married or just whatever else. You definitely sealing the deal on that.
Yeah.
You got to ride or die.
You got to. We wrote this down. Yeah. But other than that, you know, you have to think about what do you bring to the table? Like, what do you bring to the table, and then what are you going to wait for to be brought to your table as well?
Right. Because I feel like sometimes sometimes women expect so much from men. They expect them to provide. They see them as a commodity like in this new era where, you know, women are just kind of clapping back. Like, I feel like, especially like in our music and in the culture, at first it was just men always objectifying women and things like that, but now the roles have reversed and women is just so like, if you can't pay my bills or buy me a Birkin, then I don't need you. Who said that? Sweetie? Like, there was a legit comment like a couple weeks ago that kind of had some backlash, and it's just like, you don't got to bring all that to the table, but like definitely at this age, you got to be bringing something to the table.
You got to be bringing something other than what's in your pants, because from what I'm getting out here from, well, word on the street is, you know, dude just think he can come over and light a pipe and that's enough. So, but as well, it goes hand in hand because, I mean, you know, as women, we hold the power. So if you let them, that's what they're going to do. So what do you want? And what do you want to be brought to the table?
Exactly. I think that we got to take a good look at that. And also be mindful. And you can't expect more from others than you expect of yourself. I think that's important. And that's an important thing. Like, if you expect somebody else to bring X, Y, and Z to the table, then you need to be making sure that you're bringing X, Y, and Z to the table. That's the only way that it's right and fair, in my opinion. So,
X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, X, Y, Z. So basically, after I posed the question, I kind of, because women, there were some women who were just
what were
like,
some of the comments?
Oh my God, yeah, let's go back to some of the comments because they were, it just seemed like women is sick and tired.
Yeah, that's definitely the vibe I get. It's just burnt out on
like so burnt out on
dating,
waiting on men to get it together.
Trying to even figure it all out. It's just like they're done.
Like there's some women who wait for 5, 10, 15, 20 years for their man to get it right, and that's, you know, that you look up and your whole life is gone waiting for somebody else.
Wow,
like,
yeah.
You know, that's pretty crazy. I'm trying to get to some of these comments because I definitely want to. Here we go. The ladies was just like, I don't got no patience to wait for no man at 30 years old. Like, no, not really. Men, a lot of it was just like flat out, no, I'm not waiting. Some women were just like, you know, I got kids. I can't afford. Some of us literally cannot afford to wait on no man to get their shit together.
Yeah, and more now than ever, you know, obviously women are holding it down on their own. But that does not take away from the fact that, you know, people do want families. Like, that's ideal. But at the same time, you know, that's not what women are waiting for anymore. We're not waiting on men to come around, get it together, fits this, fits that. It's being done. So
and we can't say, because I know some people will be like, you know, you need to be more patient with men, and you know, like you need to be more supportive of the black man. But are the black men supportive of us? You know what I'm saying? Are they supportive enough of us and what we are out here doing, you know, throughout time? Right. Not just our generation, but when you just really look at the black family altogether and how racism in America and everything, you know, all this propaganda played a role in tearing apart the black families. It just seems like the women are more mindful of what has happened and have been more mindful about like holding the families down and just stepping up. Our men are locked up and absent, but we're playing the role of everything and everybody basically. So I feel like we reserve that right to say no.
Yeah.
You know, if I can step up to the plate and do all of this, really you have no excuse.
Right.
Because I didn't have no option. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have no option just to take my time.
Yeah.
Like I had to buckle down and get my shit together.
Right.
So men, you need to get your shit together. I'm not saying all men don't have their shit together. Because a lot of y'all are awesome, amazing, wonderful, like black kings. Do you hear me? But there's like women are leading the race right now, especially black women. Like statistics will prove that. So
yes.
it's just not up for debate.
Completely taken off. So that goes into not raising a man to be, not raising a boy to be a man unless he's your son.
Right.
You know, how often are we doing that, or how often are you doing that, where you feel like you're having to really coach someone on how to treat you, or even how to treat his own mother or his kids
or daughters?
It's like you're really playing this major role on top of raising your own kids. So why is it that so many men are having to be raised by women?
And, I think it's important to put it into context because sometimes there's a backstory, right? Like sometimes there's a reason why a man may have fell off or they're hitting hard times or struggling. There's always a backstory. But I feel, for me, it depends on what the backstory is. Because if you're just like... If you don't have no goals or no plans and you're just stuck in the same cycle and you're not ever going nowhere, like, to me, you don't have no excuse. You need to get it. But, there's some people who may have been through divorce or maybe they, had medical issues, cancer, medical bills. Like, maybe it was something very tragic that happened in their life that really set them all the way back. And so any normal human being who has compassion is going to be understanding of that.
Right.
It's not like we're just trying to be hardcore on men, like, I don't care what it is.
Right, yeah.
Like, we're not accepting that. Like, it's not that. But I definitely feel like why you're in the situation that you're in matters. Because everybody has their ups and downs. But at the end of the day, like, women should not have to wait on, like, the basic shit.
Right. And then that just goes in the hand, like if you don't have your life together, if you don't have a car, I won't say car, but if you don't have the basic fundamentals, then you know that you're not even in a position to have a woman at that point in time. So it takes two people to realize, like, when you meet somebody, he's definitely not ready for me. He don't have to say too much, or you don't have to observe too much to know when somebody's ready for you or whatnot. So sometimes we stick around in situations and wait because we want to. You're not being made to wait.
Right.
But it's like, oh, I'm going to stick around and just see how long it takes him to be what I need him to be. No. Reality is what reality is. If he's not ready right then and there, accept that for what it is, then do what you need to do. But don't sit around hoping and praying and waiting.
Exactly. And I think that's an important part. The ladies kept on commenting, like, does he got a plan? Is he executing his goals? Like, that is important for women to see the evidence of, what your effort. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to see the evidence. Are we building towards anything? That definitely... that can kind of like, I guess, prolong the wait because, if you're seeing the results, it's like, okay, we're going somewhere actually.
Right.
But I think it's the stagnant energy that,
It's draining.
It's draining.
It's so draining.
It's draining.
I think everyone at some point in time has probably waited on somebody. Even if you didn't realize you was waiting, you was waiting. Waiting for them to get it together. Even in relationships, we wait for people to change. But life is short, so
I think it's important to always, like, if you're going to be with somebody, then you need to accept them for who they are and what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
Don't make up in your mind. Don't create potential in your mind. Don't create scenarios in your mind. Don't want more for the other person than they want for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to accept and love the person for who they are right now today.
Yep, and that's not what it is. Don't get mad 3-4 years later.
Don't get mad and blame them. You all these years. Well, you allowed yourself to be in that situation for all these years.
Exactly. So how long do you feel like you've waited for someone?
Girl.
What's the longest you've waited for somebody to like really get it together change.
The longest I waited was like 5.5 years.
Yeah.
That is a long, big chunk of my life.
Yeah.
For nothing to change from start to finish. So I don't know what the fuck I was waiting on.
Right. Yeah.
Just depended on love to a miracle.
Or just in denial, probably.
In denial.
Yeah.
It was like a lot of things.
It's a combination of things. Yeah.
It was a lot. Like, you know, so I'm definitely not sitting up here on my hard horse acting like, you know, like I don't do that. Like, no, I've definitely been there, and thus this is what this is why we're having this conversation
exactly.
today.
It's definitely evidence behind everything we're saying because we done been through it, past
Most
it,
definitely.
and definitely came out of it, which is why we feel like today we can say we're rich girls because we have been through a lot.
It still came out on top.
Yeah, still came out on top. Still working though. We still work in progress. I know I am on a lot of different areas, but the whole waiting game is just too much. It's draining.
Yep. There was this comment that that somebody left. Because it's like, you know, why wait on a man? You know, it really depends on if they have the drive and ambition. Because I feel like a man who has drive and ambition, even if you may not see, even though everything may not be all good today, like he's gonna make some shit shake. You know what I'm saying? A guy said, if you leave a man horny and hungry, that's the only way to see if he has drive.
Oh,
ain't that real? That's real. Hungry and horny.
But the bad thing about it is, I know a couple of dudes that have stats cure the horniness before they go out and get some money and try to figure out how they gonna feed themselves. Or it's gonna be you gonna get food here and some sets or whatever. Yeah. You know, in the same place. And that's another thing. Right. Think about how many dudes live trash bag to trash bag. But what if we got put out of our place, ladies? Like, how many dudes do you think you can call? Because
you can rely on
with your trash bag.
Like, we house men, we feed them, we take care of. Like, look, listen, I'm not trying to be nobody's mama. I'm not trying to do that. Like, I want a life partner. Yeah. Like, match me at my speed.
Yeah. And you know, that just, we hold the power. I think a lot more men would be better if we did set those standards, if we did stick to things and not let a man come in and move in with you and your kids and eat your food and do this and that, and he's not giving you what you want. You feeding him, doing all this stuff in hopes that he one day becomes the man that you really want and deserve. And it's not worth it. Like,
I think sometimes you know, like, it's not that we're trying to be unsupportive of our black men. We love our black men and we want y'all to like catch up, get it together and all that stuff. But at the same time, like, sometimes you just gotta show tough love. Like, sometimes
a lot of the time
women enable men. You know? Like, we enable you
it's
guys.
It's the whole mama's boy vibe.
Yeah.
You know,
the whole mama's boy vibe.
You know, I'm taking care of my baby boy and you know, this is your man. So we got to do better because, you know, let it be us. We ain't got it together. He's moving on to the next chick who got her own place where he can come to and, you know, handle his business. So
let us know what y'all think, though. Like, you know, are we being irrational? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let us know in the comments below.
Please let us know because I love other people's opinions and what your experiences. Like, what's the longest that you all have waited for someone to really become the person that you want them to become? And did they? Like, that's a good question. Like, if you did wait, did it come out on top?
We want to hear about the stories where you waited and it actually played out in your favor, because I can't speak to that, but maybe some of you guys can. So.
Or you didn't waited, built this man up, and then once he did become what you was wanting, he got somebody else.
He did.
So let me know, because I know a couple of people who waited, built the man up to be a good man, and then he went off and married somebody he met within 6 months. So, you know, what's your take, ladies? What's your experiences?
Right. So we're going to let y'all sit with that for a minute. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. Thanks for tuning in with us, you guys. We'll be right back.
Yep.
Stick with the show. Season's greetings. I'm Jasmine Presley with Wave FM, and we're wishing your family a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
There is power in black media.
There is power in black media.
There is power
in black media.
There is power in black media.
There is power in black media.
There's power in black media.
There is power in black media.
Let's talk about the importance of black media. It's important that we create our own outlets that tell our story. Many mainstream media outlets add their own narratives and have their own objectives in telling our truths. We know that diversity within journalism, in stories, staff, and media ownership is a vital part of ensuring that news reflects the communities which it serves. Therefore, we must do our part in supporting independent black media outlets to make sure the multitude of stories existing in the black community continues to have a platform. Control the media, control the narrative. Black media matters.
Here we go.
Hey, you guys.
Welcome back.
to the Rich Girls Podcast.
Yep.
So we did get a couple of comments wondering where all the ladies are with their input today.
Yes, let's go. Comment.
Let's go.
please.
Drop it in the comments below.
I
We
know
just
y'all
said a
got
whole
plenty.
mouthful. Like, we know that
Plenty.
either y'all feeling us or you're not feeling us. So let us know either way.
Yeah.
So Brittany says, I think seeing progress is key. We're not going to be in the same place months later. I need continuous growth. I'm down with building together, but we have to be building, not sitting stagnant, keep going through the same thing over and over. She also says, yes, people only do what you allow. We definitely enable men. So I think this is like the time to kind of like cut the umbilical cord. Like,
yes.
because I agree, we definitely enable men. We it's almost like we take away their drive by just, because we're the providers now in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
or it's just
women do everything. Like, women are amazing. Okay?
Yeah,
like,
they really are. And there are good men out there, but as well, to that whole babying notion, like, it's written down in history. You know, we've been, black women, we shelter our black boys a lot of the time. We baby them. You know, I know plenty of people in my family, even my mother, like, she treats my brother, who's a grown man, like a baby. And I've been treated like a grown woman since I was 15.
Right.
And it shows. Like, I'm handling, my brother's definitely a dope young man, but even he feels my mom, like, just hovering over him, trying to take care of him, trying to make sure this and that. But, you know, even I'm her daughter, and she told me, she knew, because I'm a female, I'm going to be independent, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But why not?
But why are the men?
The same for the men? Because,
why are the men? Why don't we expect them to be independent?
Yeah, I don't know, but I got 2 sons, and I'm not having it. I'm definitely raising them to be how my mom raised me, to be independent and doing what I have to do.
Basically, like, seriously, like,
I mean, it's bad. Like, look at her mom too.
Yeah, my mom too.
Yeah, I mean, it's like everybody I know who has a son and a daughter, you will see immediately the differences in how, you know, a daughter's treated versus son. And that, I mean, it just plays out on how these men are today. Like, they expect to come to you with little to no effort, a couple text messages, get a hot meal, some booty, and you better be quiet and be grateful for that. So,
and that,
it's bad.
That is sad. Like, we're not accepting the minimum.
Yeah,
like, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. And me, I have one son, my only son, my baby. He's 3, and
she treats him special.
I do. He's my only son, so he does get treated a little bit special. But I do also want to be mindful that I'm not like repeating this same pattern of like coddling men and enabling them to a certain extent. Like, I want him to be, you know, and as a single mom, like, the women just have so much influence because a lot of times they're the only ones in the household. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, I have accepted the fact that I cannot be mommy and daddy. I can't teach my son like what his daddy can teach him.
Right.
And his dad is out of town, so like there's some spatial things going on. It's just a lot. But at the end of the day, like, yeah, I definitely want my son to be, you know, holding his own shit down. Like, there's so many men who just literally, if they don't have a girlfriend, they don't have a place to stay.
And that's bad. That's really bad. I know more so who are like that than or who are not. I've came in contact with more who are like that than not like that. And it's bad.
It's bad.
I mean, it
like,
really is.
men, I encourage you all. I'm encouraging you. I'm not bashing you. I'm just encouraging you to take the lead. And like how we have said all throughout this episode, there are so many good men, hardworking men, married men, people who's just holding it down out here for their wife, their kids, their girl, their family, period. Yes. But there is also still a great disparity. And I feel like a part of our goal today is to just kind of bridge the gap. Like, we don't want the women to be all the way over here and then the men just all the way over here in their own lane. Like, we need to come together as men and women and, like, create, rebuild our foundation that was, like, torn apart by white supremacists and the American government and et cetera, et cetera. Like, we have to be intentional about unifying. And like I kind of mentioned earlier, like, I feel like we're in this culture where women see men as a commodity and men objectify women. And it's just like, where's the level of respect? Like, what is going on here? Like, we really need to reevaluate our culture as a whole and decide for ourselves, because I feel like so much was imposed on us. But, now we have the access and the internet and the knowledge and the resources to learn, educate ourselves and just, rebuild, basically.
Exactly. Knowledge is power, and it's definitely about tearing down these systems that we have in place now, because they are the result of, like, why we're going through what we're going through.
Absolutely.
Majority of our men are in prison. So, that takes a lot away from women in our picking. So, these systems that are built to tear our families down and keep it to where our black men have to keep running back to the streets or back to jail, either or. I mean, it's a vicious cycle.
It is a vicious cycle. Yeah. I'm actually reading a book called The New Jim Crow, and it's just like pissing me off and lighting me up, because while I'm one of those people who believe, like, it's about your mindset, it's about accountability, like, you have choice, you have the power, we are also battling this atrocious system, this mass incarceration, this racial caste system, like, we are feeling the effects of, like, the war on drugs and everything else. For example, between the years 1970 and 2000, the incarceration rate went from, like, 300,000, which is, like, a global average, to, like, over 2 million. And it may be more than that. Don't quote me, but it was in the millions for sure in the United States. And that was very intentional. And so, yeah, I just hope for a better future, period. I know a lot of that, like, there's just so much work to be done.
It is
individually, we have our own choices, but, like, collectively, like, we have to come together. Like, there's got to be some sort of political change, honestly. And then it just kind of trickles down from there. That's just how I see it.
It's very true. The systems that surround us definitely determine a lot as
of
far
our everyday
as
life.
Our everyday lives, and that's what people have to realize, is that America was built for us to fall. America continues to instill different laws and practices that keep people of color down, keep people of color in jail, cast us out. So we have to do what we have to do on a small scale to a large scale. Just do what you can do, and to not continue these same stereotypes and, build women with sons. Like, I'm really looking for a man, to open up a mentor program for these young black boys. As a therapist, majority of our client base is black young boys who don't have their fathers around. Some of them have never even met them. But they're so young, and I can just see the road that they could potentially go down if they don't get that help and guidance and role models to really show them the way. So
yes, because I know
it starts as a child.
It starts as a child. Yeah. I know me and Cecily, we have our own initiative in the future for how we want to pour into the youth, because we understand, like, how important that is, like, how you need to catch these people early. Our youth need resources. They need
role models. Definitely, mentorship is the biggest impact on African American boys. Steve Harvey has a mentorship program he's been doing for a while, and it's like had the biggest impact on the boys that he works with, like, because some of them don't see no good examples around them, so they don't know what looks like a man and what doesn't look like a man.
What a man even does. Like, yeah.
And then they grow up to be sleeping on your daughter's couch. So, yeah, we gotta do it. We gotta really just get our kids together, get ourselves together, because as rich women, rich girls, like, we control the narrative. Like, if this is what you want, if you want to wait on somebody, do that. But if you don't.
You don't have to. The choice is yours. And so we're going to close out with that. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search Rich Girls. All of our past episodes will be uploaded there.
Yes, and you can always come back on Wave FM on any of our pages, because I have a lot of people that say, oh, I missed the show. Where can I watch it? Wave FM will constantly have it there. We both have it on our page, Rich Girls,
the
YouTube,
Rich Girls page.
all of that.
Yep.
And it's never too late to comment. We will go back to the comments, mention them in later shows or whatnot, and also hit up our inboxes for to be a guest on the show.
Yep.
Promo, definitely. We want to promote Black businesses,
yes,
women, men, whatever. So hit us up.
Hit us up. We love you guys. Thanks for tuning in today. But it's the rub.
Yep.
You're listening to the Rich Girls Podcast, where we celebrate women who are glowing, inspiring, rising, leading, and succeeding. Join your hosts, Jasmine and Cesaley, for weekly gems on business, relationships, motherhood, finances, and more. Let's get started.